What do you think is the biggest thing if we go to the next topic, the biggest thing that surprised you about living in Dubai?
How much time you have by yourself, even though you can network 100%. Like, obviously there's families everywhere in the UK, but I think there is, you have more time, you have to be occupied, and also like you will spend a lot more time indoors, to be fair, than you ever thought. Like I spend a lot of time indoors, which obviously is kind of like something I'm trying to work on a little bit, but you'd be working a lot more than you think. 100%. People think you're just going to go out and go to Cat Beach on midday and enjoy it, but it's not for those people.
The biggest thing for me that I found, the biggest shock and the biggest difference is, again, with like UK culture, they look at Dubai and they say, it's got no soul.
That I fucking never understood.
Yeah, I never understood. Well, the majority of people that say these things, they've never been to Dubai anyway. And it wasn't me that recognized it. I saw someone post something about it, and they basically said, like, to the people who say Dubai hasn't got any soul, you should come here and see what it's like at like 9:30 in the evening, on like where the local park areas are, and all the families are out playing with it.
Yeah, like the Palm would be a great example of that. Yeah, before they fucked up with all the construction.
But yeah, it's like, what more soul do you want than that? And you know, allowing your kids to go out at like 9:30, 10 p.m. and not have any worry at all that anything's going to happen to them. And then you have family units that are getting together, having picnics. Like, it's just, that for me is like the epitome of soul. And plus you have to bear in mind, like, the country's only been the way it is for like, 50 years? So it's like, how long does it take for a country to get a soul, you know?
Yeah.
Well, soul is also perspective, right? I don't even know what I feel since living here 4.5 years, that it now just feels like Europe to me here. Pretty much everyone's European. There's the odd Russian floating around, and Eastern European, but most people are European. There's obviously the locals, and then there's obviously the people coming from Pakistan, Philippines who are workers and stuff. So I think for me, it's just like Europe, but safer, more efficient, and actually works.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. 100%.
What's funny is, you know, people think of them as like Dubai coaches or Dubai business owners. There's like a association with that. I've even had like a conversation with people. It's like they wouldn't tell the people from Dubai in case they don't become a customer or so on. I remember having someone be like, "Oh, you know what? I actually wouldn't work with you if you were in Dubai." I was like, "Shit, yeah." And obviously he signed up because he didn't know I'm from Dubai. But it's like you have a lot of people that kind of see themselves as like Dubai coaches, Dubai influencers, but it's an association term.
Yeah,
I doubt.
What surprised you in terms of cost of living here?
It's actually not that bad, if I'm being honest. It depends what you do. Like, I don't know. When you move here, you have to spend a lot. Like, to get settled in. After that, it's just you find your ground, you set base routines, and then it's kind of there. But I think it depends on the person, but I don't think it's as bad as people think, in my opinion.
I would argue it depends on where you live in the UK.
Yeah.
If you live in fucking Timbuktu, then fair enough, or the arse end or somewhere. But if you live in London, rent's cheaper here than this in central London by a fucking mile.
Yeah.
By a fucking mile.
It's cheaper, I think, in some areas. Like even Manchester, the same place we've got would have got as like a 1-bed or a studio in Manchester, but like it's completely different. So like I think you can get a lot more for what you pay, 1,000%. Even meal prep, like when you're speaking about it, like you don't have to cook. Like, and it's,
so I'm the white privileged person who's I don't fucking meal prep.
I get my meals for £2.50. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's good meals too, that's the thing.
Yeah, really.
And they come every morning and you're like cracking over. But yeah, I think cost of living wise, I think people think is much more. When you settle in, yes. When you get settled in, it's probably cheaper, I think, in my opinion, in the UK. Plus, if you're working all the time, you don't spend anyways. So
there's certain things. It's all dependent on your lifestyle and like what you want to do. If you want to go out every night and eat at a nice restaurant, then obviously it's going to build up. But if you just live a typical mundane life, not mundane, but a normal life, and especially as if you are like working constantly here, like,
yeah,
it's certain things are slightly more expensive, but then certain things are a lot cheaper. I think it just levels and evens everything out.
I think you give some extreme examples. So if you look, for example, petrol filling up car is about 30 quid.
Yeah.
Whereas in the UK, it's going to be what, if you've got Ranger or something, it's 100 quid, 130 quid.
Easy.
Big difference. So I think that's something wild. I think the cost of food, I don't think is much different in the UK. Depending where you buy it from.
I think probably less.
And to the point where actually like some food is actually cheaper almost just go on Deliveroo or get meal prep and actually get it made for you. Yeah. So like there's an argument it's also cheaper. if you want to have house staff in terms of like, don't talk about white privilege, like
That's the title of the podcast.
housekeepers,
nannies,
nannies, gardeners, all that type of shit, then it's like, it costs like nothing. It's wild.
Yeah.
So I think,
But then you'll get, so here's the thing, here's the pushback on that, because you'll get people from the UK who say, oh yeah, but that's because, you know, Dubai's built off of slave labour, like that whole nonsense. Like, what would your response be to that?
capitalism, like, dude, it's fucking open market capitalism. As people, someone is only going to get paid for the value of their skill and what they can put back into society, right? Same as me, same as you, same as anyone. So it's like, if you have a very high level skill and there's not many people who can do it, you will earn a lot. If you have a lower value skill, there's a lot of people who can do it, then you're not going to earn as much.
Yeah.
And these people are coming from countries where if they earn $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, they can send half that back. That's a lot of money. I'll give you a great example. We're massively overpaying one of our night nannies. She told us the other day, she's buying fucking houses in Uganda to land. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, do you know what I mean? So I'm like, because that goes a long way, clearly. So I'm like, and that's where I think it's kind of perspective. But I put a post up on LinkedIn, I think around Christmas, where I gave a housekeeper like $1,000.
Yeah, I remember.
And people were literally like, you're a piece of shit. Like, why don't you just pay him properly? I'm like, dude, like, I think it's, people also don't understand, if you talk about living cost here, there's, I don't know how many people, I guess 500,000 people in that tier of kind of person who probably live here, off the top of my head. They all live pretty decent lifestyles. Like our Camudo housekeeper, she's got a car now, she's like all that type of stuff. So like, she's got kids. So I think it actually allows a lot of those people to kind of have a prosperous life. But then also I would say it allows them to bring their children up in a great country, rather than fucking Pakistan, India, somewhere they got safety issues, not getting great education, because they will get that here. And their second generation, the kids underneath them, how successful could they now be because of that?
Yeah, it's true. Goes back to the days of when people used to leave and go to live in America because they wanted a better lifestyle.
I had a shout out to me, this is a friend of mine, D, was saying that I think it was like his uncle or someone he's related to, he was really successful and he moved from the UK to US and then to basically go to New Frontier. And he said like, this guy came to Dubai and he was like, Dubai is like the US was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Like it's the place you go and it's to kind of be successful. And I think if you think about what allows you to be successful is the thoughts you have every day, which one of the big drivers of that are like what you're exposed to every day and the people you talk to. So if you've got a melting pot of the best people in the world coming in and out constantly, the best information coming out, that's just like osmosis of you becoming better at everything you do and get a better perspective. And that's how over time you continue to grow.
Yeah. What would you say, we're obviously all pro Dubai, but what would you say some of the negative elements of living here are?
The worst things I would say are, I don't really like, time zone's kind of annoying. You don't realise this when you live in the UK. UK is the best time zone in the world, which is before the UK government fucked itself. It's why London was the financial capital around the world before he decided to become socialist. And then I said that's one thing. It's a long way to fly to the US. You also realise the UK is great. Like you can go to Spain in 2 hours. You go to France. You can go like all around Europe. It's pretty sick. New York's like, I don't know, 5-6 hours. So UK geographically is way better positioned from that perspective.
Yeah.
I would say it's fair. I think the summer is fucking hot and not great in terms of humidity. Would I prefer that to the British winter? Yes. So it's kind of like pick your poison. So I would say that's challenging. And I'd say those are probably my two biggest gripes. I wouldn't say I've got anything else kind of in addition to that.
What did you say?
Like, would you have any cons that you think?
Third one's the obvious one. Like lack of greenery compared to like.
That was what I was going to say.
That's the only one I say. Yeah. But like, I would say, bearing in mind it's built in the desert, they do not a bad job.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Mine would obviously just be nature. Like, I'm a big nature person. I always have been a big nature person. So, but saying that, I've been on some hikes here before, and like Hatter's only an hour's drive from here. There's another place that I went to. I can't remember the name of it, but they got some pretty insane mountain terrains that you can go and trek. And there are massive like parks they have here as well, like Dubai Hills
That's pretty sick,
Park.
to be fair.
It's like amazing to go there. It feels like a really nice community as well. It almost reminds me a little bit of like central London and like Hyde Park kind of way. But yeah, that for me is a massive one, like the nature thing. But again, I would take that over.
Yeah.
I'll bring something up as well. A lot of people like to moan about Dubai traffic.
Yeah.
But I'm like, have you ever been to central London?
Yeah, exactly.
Or have you been to any capital city in the world? I'm like, bro, there's people there, so it's going to be busy.
Yeah.
And also, like, even if you look at Emaar beachfront, they're like, oh, it's getting busy. They built a fucking bridge out of nowhere that's like coming over the top of it. So they're like, they realize there's a problem, and they just 3 months later, there's a fucking new bridge suddenly appeared.
Yeah, of course.
So like their ability to like think forwards and kind of fix these things, I think, is pretty wild.
Yeah, massively. And even if you just take that traffic, for example, it's like that's one thing that the UAE is really good at, is they see a problem and they work on it straight away. Like they're building that rail line that goes direct to Abu Dhabi. I think they're trying to build that to cut down the amount of traffic that's on the Sheikh Zayed Road. But if you take, for instance, like the UK, and like what the UK does is, you know, they had the
HS2 peak rate.
Yeah, the whole emissions kind of thing that blew up. So who takes the brunt of it? Like the everyday person, they just tax you even more on it. So yeah, it's for all the cons that Dubai has, and it does have some cons. I would 100% pick it over the UK.
Now, if you enjoyed this clip and you're a coach, creator, or a business owner, and you want help in terms of how to scale your business using ads, AI, content, marketing, a lot of things we talk about on the show, then hit the link at the top line of our description in the YouTube video. You can book on a call with us and we'll walk through the whole process, audit your business, and show you where there's huge, huge opportunities for you to scale.